Hello, Ragers, and welcome back to another episode of Rage It. Today we're going to be taking another look at entitled parents. So, sorry for any grammatical errors, but I'm Italian and I do not know English very well. Also, sorry if this is not an incredibly long or exciting story, but I thought it'd be funny to read. This happened a couple of weeks ago. It was the day of my grandmother's funeral. She died in a hospital, and I was outside talking to the owner of the funeral company. This dude was also my godfather, and I had a very good relationship with him. It might sound weird that my godfather is the owner of a funeral company, but to me, it's not. He's known me since I was a baby, and he treated me like his own son. Also, to me, his job is just like any other job, and it even has its benefits. Anyways, here we go. I was, and still am, 17. This story's cast is EM, entitled mother, GF, my godfather, not girlfriend. EK, entitled kid, even though he doesn't play a huge role in the story. And me, yours truly. We're just outside the hospital, talking to each other. Parked in front of us were all the company vehicles, including the one you are all thinking about. All of a sudden, entitled mom approached us. Hello? Hello? Entitled mom had her kid just next to her, and he was holding a drink. I was wondering if my son could take a ride in the limousine? She then pointed her finger to the hearse. It took me a while to respond for two reasons. The first one was because I had so many thoughts going through my head, and a stranger coming to me out of nowhere caught me by surprise. I'm a very introverted person, and I find it difficult to talk to people I don't know. The second reason was because I was holding my laugh. She legitimately thought that the hearse was a limousine. I'm sorry to say this, but that's not... Are you gonna say no to a little child? At this point, I didn't know what to say. Miss, believe me, you don't want your son to go in that thing. Why are you so stingy? Even if he spills his drink in the limousine, it won't be a problem. You have enough money to buy a limousine, so you'll surely have enough to clean it. This is when my godfather gets involved. Excuse me, miss. What do you want to do? I want my son to ride the limousine. My godfather then said the most epic thing I have ever heard. Sure, he can ride in the limousine, but only if he has a coffin to be in. Entitled mom is a bit confused about the response. She takes a good second to look at the limousine, and then she realized. I have no idea how she confused a hearse for a limousine. Perhaps the company logo was out of her view or something. However, when she realized the mistake, her skin got pale, and she just walked away as fast as she can with her kid. Me and my godfather just look at each other and start laughing. Apologies if I mess up anything. My daughter told me to post here. When I was first married, money wasn't that easy to come by. I had a form of leukemia that took up most of our money. Due to this, we couldn't just spend money like we wanted to. God bless my husband for being such a sweetheart. We were only early 20s, and he still pushed through this for us. December 23rd is my mother's birthday. She is an awful person. She tried to get me pregnant at 14 because she wanted more money from the state. That's an entirely different story I'll post on here if people ask. As this was 20 years ago, we didn't really have the same type of cell phones we have today. So I didn't know until I got home from treatment that my mom had called me multiple times. 3 minutes later, I counted, she shows up at our door. She asks for her money. Both of us are confused, of course. She wants her birthday money, which I've never given before to her. She wanted $608, that exact amount. When I told her no, we can't afford that, she lost it, screaming at me, calling me a whore and an entitled brat. She gave birth to me, so I should do what she says. And then I say I'm an adult and I don't have to listen. I was angry and tired, and I just threw up a few minutes ago. This set her off. She grabbed a kitchen knife and ran at me while my husband is trying to hold her back. She stabbed me right between two ribs, but didn't pierce any organ. Thank God. I don't know what happened in my husband's mind, but he snapped. He broke her arm backwards in rage while screaming something I don't even think was a human language. He called the police, and she was arrested while I was taken to the hospital. Even more bills to pay, but surprisingly, that was taken care of by the Domestic Violence Victims Foundation. She got 7 years in prison. I moved out and moved to Louisiana. This morning, I got a call from my sister that she passed away last night. How she did, I don't know. Don't care. She took her entitlement and almost killed her own daughter because of it. This one is just crazy. I can't believe someone would take something this far. Sounds to me like she had to be on some sort of drugs or something. Good morning, Reddit. Just allow me a few disclaimers before I start. First, have in mind that this story takes place in the north of Spain. Therefore, I will try to give the necessary context so the cultural barrier is as little as possible. Second, that this is my first post in this community. Third, I'm Spanish, so please forgive me for any grammatical mistakes. Now let's get started. First of all, I will give out some context, so feel free to skip this and go directly to the story. This took place a couple of years ago, when I was 17, and I used to spend part of my summers helping my grandparents' restaurant. The restaurant was located in the bottom floor of our family house in a little village, about 30 inhabitants, and my great-grandparents, the parents of my mom's mom, lived in the upper floor. In the restaurant, my great-grandmother and my grandma were in charge of the cooking, and my great-granddad and granddad were in charge of attending the tables. It was kind of small, as it had like 8 tables of 4 on the inside, and we could set another 2 outside if the weather was good. As the restaurant also served as a bar, it was filled with the locals, and as many of them were retired, they used to spend the whole day playing cards and drinking beer and wine. So although it was a small location, in summer usually was full of people. Although it was quite a remote place, in summer we used to get like 4 or 5 groups of tourists per week, and the rule was that my brother and I were in charge of serving their tables, as we were the only ones who knew any other language than Spanish. Our opening hours at the time were from 12 to 22:30, but the kitchen was only open from 1300 to 1500, and from 1930 to 2100. We only served one menu, composed of a starter, 2 main dishes, dessert, and a cider or water, all for €10. So now the story. For convenience, I will use the following abbreviations. EM, entitled mother, EF, entitled father, SK, spoiled kid, about 7 years old, GGP, great grandpa, M, me. It was around 1600, therefore most of the customers had finished eating and were chatting over a cup of coffee or some liqueur. My grandparents and great-grandparents were still eating, as they waited until everyone else was finished. Therefore, my brother and I were in charge of serving the tables, just in case anyone wanted something to drink. Suddenly, we hear a car outside, and I can hear a woman loudly speaking in English. As soon as they enter, this happens. "We would like to have a table. X from the Y Hotel told us this was a great place to eat." "I'm sorry, ma'am, but the kitchen is already closed as it's kind of late." "Yes, it's late because we got lost on these darned roads. Is it so difficult to put proper signals? Also, we have a little kid that is hungry." "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Let me check if I can do something for you." I then went inside and explained the situation to my grandma, who told me to attend them, as everything was already prepared and it was just heating the food. "Well, are you going to give us a table or not? If the kitchen is closed, how is it that those people are eating?" Pointing at my grandparents. At the moment, I thought she was behaving like that because she was kind of hungry, and I wasn't really used to dealing with rude people, as the majority of tourists used to be really respectful. "Well, those are the owners, so they can eat whenever they want." I said this while laughing a bit. "Anyway, I have just asked them, and you will be able to eat, so please follow me to your table." They followed me to the table, and I explained to them that there is only one menu. They give me a strange look, but they seem okay with that. I served them the bread, and I put a bottle of water on the table. They start devouring the bread, so they were a bit rude because they were hungry theory seemed to be confirmed. As soon as I bring the starter, entitled father demands to have the Wi-Fi password. "Hey, we've seen that there's a Wi-Fi network. Where's the password?" "Yes, there is one. However, the Wi-Fi is for the staff personal use." We had a measured and really slow connection that had like 5 gigabytes of data, which my grandpa used for checking some newspapers and my brother and I used for sending WhatsApp to our friends. "That's bull. We're paying customers and we deserve to have access to your Wi-Fi." "Yes, our little angel wants to watch some videos. We don't have any kind of internet access here." "Sorry, but As I have said, it's for personal use. That's not right. This would be unacceptable in America. Well, I'm sorry to inform you that we're not in America. The entitled mom says something to the spoiled kid, and then he starts running around the restaurant, stomping his feet and shouting. My great-grandpa comes to me and asks me what is happening. I explain the whole situation to him, and he asks me to please translate what he's going to say. Please, lady, control your child, or I will have to ask you three to leave. Don't you dare tell me how to raise my child, you dinosaur! Don't get close to my child, you old creep. By this point, everyone is of course looking with disbelief at these morons. I doubt for a second, but translate all of this to my great-grandpa, expecting a not really nice reaction. Instead of saying anything, he slowly turns around and asks two men who are sitting on a table to take the whole family out of his restaurant. I proceed to explain to the family that if they don't get out, these two men, who also happen to be rural police forces, would be taking them out. They don't seem to believe that those two men were policemen, and they refuse to leave until we serve them. Finally, both men stood up, showed their plaques, and asked them, in their best English, to leave. Entitled mom, entitled father, and spoiled kid finally stand up and leave. However, as they were leaving, the policeman realized that they had parked in front of our garage, blocking it, in a zone signaled as a no parking zone. So they decided to ask for their rental car papers while taking a couple of photos and giving them a €200 fine for blocking a private property garage. Okay, this ended up being far longer than I expected. On my behalf, I have to say that I have family in the USA and that all Americans I have met in the USA are really nice people. So please don't take this as an American bashing post. I hope you all have a great day. Man, people like this really give Americans a bad name. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that like and subscribe button. If not, let me know why down in the comments section so I can make the next video better. See you guys next time.